On this episode of Under the Radar Michigan, we're back in the UP for a natural spring that's so cool, it's almost unnatural. We'll also see the night sky like you've never seen it before and take a leap of faith right into Lake Superior. Then we do some extreme mountain biking and show you the stairway to heavenly jams and jellies. Get ready to explore the cool people, places, and things that make Michigan's Upper Peninsula a great place to be.
Under the Radar Michigan is brought to you in part by the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, investing in people, places, and partnerships to help transform Michigan and the Michigan economy. In cities, towns, and neighborhoods, people are building better places to live and better communities. The Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure series raises funds and awareness in the breast cancer fight, celebrates survivorship, and honors those who have lost their battle. Everyone is welcome. Find a Komen Race for the Cure in more than 140 cities at komen.org. And by Big B Coffee, celebrating 18 years as a Michigan company. Gift cards, mugs, and coffee by the pound available in store and online. Franchise info available at biggby.com.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. And the more I explore, the more I realize it's the place to be. I'm Tom Dalton, and this is Under the Radar Michigan.
Hey everybody, it's time for another UTR UP adventure. Starts right now. See the bridge?
Yep, every time we cross the Mackinac Bridge into Michigan's beautiful Upper Peninsula, Jim and I always say the same thing. Look, rocky outcroppings. It's completely different. And poor Eric always has the same reaction. But it really is different in the UP. There's miles and miles of unspoiled nature, tons of great towns and natural wonders to explore, and a great mix of creative, hearty, and happy people who love to share this paradise. So, let another UP adventure begin.
You know, in Florida, they got a natural spring called Weeki Wachee. That's pretty cool. But up in Michigan's UP, we've got a spring with an even cooler name. It's called Kippy. Pretty cool.
The Kippy Spring is located just a few miles west of Mackinac in the Palms Book State Park. And when it comes to Michigan's natural wonders, I wonder why it took me so long to visit this one. The spring is a surreal experience that will totally amaze you. And the best part is, you just hop onto a self-propelled open-bottom ferry, crank yourself out to the middle, and watch the wonders of the spring. And lucky for me, Park Officer Pat Nelson came along to make sure I actually learned something.
Pat, the first thing I gotta ask you is, how does the water stay so clear?
Well, you have 10,000 gallons a minute that comes up through the bottom. And that's crystal clear water, and that's constant movement. And that's why you get the rolling sand on the bottom.
The water is so crystal clear, it looks like we're just floating in the air over these fish. How far down to the bottom?
It's 45 feet deep.
45 feet. The fish are huge. What are those?
The really large ones are lake trout. You can see there's lots of little ones on the bottom.
Those are food.
Those are food, yes. And so in these trout we will feed too in the morning. We throw some feed in there.
So what's the temperature of the water?
45 degrees, consistently.
Year round?
Year round. This will not freeze over. Although I have been out here once where there was a little crust of ice over the top, but it will not freeze over solid.
Where did the name Kippy come from? Is there a legend to that, or is there a...
Well, John Belair, who was a Sini lumberman, he bought a 5 and dime in Manistique in the turn of the century. He was the one who really fell in love with this area. He made arrangements through the Palm and Book Lumber Company. That's where the name Palm Book Park comes from.
I was going to ask you, because there's no palm trees here.
No palm trees, but it was Palm Book Lumber Company. He made arrangements for a sale for the park for $10 for the original 90 acres. And he loved showing people the spring, wanted to attract people out here. He later confessed to one of the park managers when he was in his late 70s that he had a poet friend of sorts who created the Kippy legend. It was supposedly a young Indian chief who was trying to prove his love to his maiden, and she demanded that she catch him from one of the boughs, and he fell into the water and drowned. So.
But that's not true?
Yeah.
It sounds cool.
Be. I don't know, that's a heck of a way to go.
Yeah, well, I'm not going in there. What do you think this spring and this park means to the state of Michigan?
I think everybody takes something a little special away with them when they come out here.
Yeah, I knew it would be cool, but I had no idea it would be this. It's just awesome. Look at that one fish is just sitting on the bottom. Is he just tired?
Just hanging out.
Just hanging. Hey, dude, what's happening?
The kitchen to Kippy Spring is the kind of place that's so cool, the second you get home, you tell everybody you know about it. So don't worry if you can't say it right, just make sure you get up here to see it. It's a real UP treasure.
Now, you've probably heard the old expression, nothing good happens after midnight. Well, you're about to meet somebody who doesn't think that's true at all.
And that's because here in Marquette, Sean Malone does some of her best and most incredible photography in the wee hours of the night. She owns and operates Lake Superior Photo, and when Sean's not at the shop, she's out capturing some of the most breathtaking images you'll ever see of Michigan's UP.
Every time we come up to the Upper Peninsula, we always tell people who haven't been here how beautiful it is up here, and you've managed to capture that and even magnify it.
I guess that's what I want to do, is I see a scene and I want to render it in the best possible way that I can, in the best possible light.
What's it like having all this natural beauty to work with?
I feel like I've just scratched the surface. You know, when you get away from the landmarks that everybody knows or the overlooks or that kind of thing that are always photographed, it's just amazing.
Is the atmosphere and the terrain and the beauty of the Upper Peninsula, is that what kind of got you into photography as deep as you got?
Yes, the beauty of the area just drove everything, and it just kind of developed from there.
Now, while Sean is known for her awesome still photography, what originally put her on our radar was the incredible time-lapse video she takes while the rest of us are curled up in bed. Even though very few of us will ever see the Northern Lights live and in person, thanks to Sean's tenacity and technique, we can all enjoy the majesty of this amazing natural phenomenon.
How do you know the Northern Lights are going to be there when you show up at night?
You're never guaranteed unless it's a really strong event off the sun. I've been fortunate to catch a few really major events, and those are some things that people spend their entire lives hoping that they see.
Do you alter the colors at all? Are those the real colors?
That's what the camera picks up. You have to remember that that's being shot with very high ISO, so it's always going to be brighter than what you actually see, and your eye does have a hard time seeing the color unless it's a really strong display.
So you're sitting out there all night to do this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, at least 3 hours, 3-4 hours for one scene, yeah.
Tell me about the one scene you shot with the 2 chairs on the beach. Where is that beach, and how did you get that?
Those are our chairs, and that's our beach, and that's basically where we live on Lake Superior.
That's your backyard?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we feel very fortunate to live in that. That's our little paradise right there.
Well, I admire you for the discipline it takes to do photography and time-lapse like that. Not a lot of people will go out in the freezing cold, stay out all night, but what you produce is just magical.
Yeah, I mean, it's calm, everything's quiet, it's great.
So next time you're in the UP and you hear something go bump in the night, fear not. It's just Sean Malone and her trusty camera out there building incredible UP dreamscapes, one frame at a time.
Remember when your mom used to say to you, well, if your friends are going to jump off a cliff, are you going to jump too? Well, I finally figured out the right response. Heck yeah.
And that's exactly what people of all ages do here in Marquette at the tip of Presqu'Île Park. The cliffs are called Black Rocks, and they're an incredible formation of black granite cliffs that rise 20 feet above the crystal clear and frighteningly freezing waters of Lake Superior. Allison Silk told me all about this incredible place, and she made sure I knew exactly what I was jumping myself into.
I was going to ask you why they call this Black Rocks, but it's pretty obvious. These rocks are
the
black.
rocks. And actually, some of the rock formations that you'll see from the shore if you go out on a boat. We have some of the oldest rock formations in the world in this part of the country.
Wow, the view is incredible.
Yeah.
Now, how long have people been jumping off these rocks?
As long as people can remember. I've talked to NMU alumni and people that have lived here 40, 50 years ago, and they remember doing this growing up and, being students at Northern jumping.
And does the park mind that people jump here?
They don't, no, they don't promote it, but somehow the word gets out. We have people that come in and say this is on their bucket list. Everybody knows about it, so I think it's just through word of mouth that it's promoted.
This is not on my bucket list,
No.
but I'm gonna.
You're doing it anyways?
Well, I think I'll try it anyway.
Yeah.
But I gotta ask you, what's it like having all this in your backyard?
It's incredible. I feel like I live in the most beautiful place in the world. You know, I've shown pictures to family and friends. There are some overlooks in this park, Presque Isle Park, where we are right now, and people have thought I'm in California, Oregon, Washington. They can't believe it's Michigan.
How far is the jump down to the water?
It's about 15 to 20 feet, so not too bad.
15 sounds better.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll go with 15.
And the water obviously is deep enough for the jump?
It is, yep. No one has ever been injured jumping. There are different spots, and everywhere you really want to jump, it's safe.
And it's toasty warm this time of year,
Yep,
right?
oh, about 90 degrees, yeah.
Before I took my own leap of faith, so to speak, I wanted to find out what possessed other people to do this crazy thing.
So is it true you guys have thicker blood up here, or are you just crazier?
Probably a little bit of both.
You know, you and I should know better than to be doing stuff like this. Why are you doing it?
Because I've been doing it for a long time.
Really? And you're just going to do it again?
I'm going to do it again. Too bad my kids couldn't come today.
They'd be proud or ashamed or embarrassed?
No, they've been doing it since they were 5 and 7.
Do you have something, a favorite thing you like to yell when you go in?
Not really.
I'll yell for you.
Kind of just gotta do it.
I'll yell for you. Go ahead. Excelsior! Okay, let's see you do it. I dare you. I double dog dare. Oh my gosh! Hey, she disappeared right in the water. So you are doing this because...
Because I like to get wet.
No, tell me the truth. It's because chicks dig cliff divers, right?
That's very true. When I come out here, I'm flexing my abs and I'm like, I'm about to jump in that water. And all the ladies, they're just, whoa! And
That's
they just
right.
do some tricks and it's like, whoa!
Awesome. I don't believe any of that. Why don't you just jump? Whoa! He did a flip.
Well, it was time. The moment of truth finally came.
I'll be right there, Allison. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hold on. On 3. 3! Nani!
Well, I'll be honest. I thought dressing like Super Dude would ease the impact and shield me from the cold water.
My cape!
But all it did was make it more difficult for me to swim to shore.
The cape!
And losing the power of my UTR super hat just made it more difficult for me to watch this clip.
I'll survive without it!
The truth is, the jump was so much fun, Jim did it, and Eric even did it twice. So if you're up in the UP and you're up for the challenge, jumping off the cliffs at Black Rocks is an awesome experience you'll never forget. And take it from me, you'll feel like a superhero even without the crazy costume. Oh, and you'll also save $24.95. Bonus. Well, with a newfound sense of pride, courage, and 3 soggy car seats, we drove west to the Keweenaw Peninsula, turned right, and drove north until, well, we pretty much ran out of land. A quick 600 miles from Detroit, you'll find Copper Harbor, which, like I said, is literally as far north as you can go in Michigan without getting wet. It's a quiet little town that's nestled in one of the most beautiful places in Michigan, and it looks straight north into mighty Lake Superior.
You know, if you're into mountain biking, Michigan is a great place to be. But if you're really into mountain biking, you got to check out Copper Harbor. That's what I'm doing right now.
That's because the bike trails up here are being called some of the best in the world. The Copper Harbor Trail Club is determined to put this place on the world stage, and they've done just that by developing a system of trails that will satisfy beginners and blow the minds of professionals. Sam Raymond owns the Keweenaw Adventure Company, and he discovered this adventure paradise a long time ago.
What's the mountain biking culture like up here?
You know, it's definitely a grassroots-based organization. It's been a progression and evolution over the course of about a decade and a half.
Well, I understand you're a big part of the evolution of that whole thing.
Yeah, I first got involved working on the trails back in the late 90s. I actually opened my shop here in 1999. Back then, you could count the number of mountain bikers on one hand that were in town.
Did you help develop these trails?
I did some of the early work on some of the pioneer and some of the legacy trails that you would have. Over time, we've kind of transitioned from a volunteer-based organization to professional, full-time paid trail builders, and that's happened more like in the last 5 years, and as a result of that, you know, it's really taken us on the national stage with the recognition our trails are getting.
Explain the terrain up here for people who've never been up here.
Well, it is very unique for this part of the country. It's very rocky and rugged, mountainous by Midwestern standards, and that's what mountain biking is all about, you know, is going up and going down, so.
Yeah, for me, it's just pretty much going down.
Well, it was time to bike up and hit the trails. And speaking of up, you won't believe how far up you get to go in Copper Harbor. Real mountains in Michigan. Awesome. At the top, I met up with Aaron Rogers. He's a mountain bike enthusiast whose vision and sweat equity has put these trails on the world map. When Aaron's not traveling the planet spreading the good news about this area, he's right here in Copper Harbor hitting the trails, and hitting them hard.
All right, do it.
You gotta wait for me.
I'm trying.
I'm not used to this. You know, I love to mountain bike, but these mountain biking trails are actually in the mountains,
They actually are.
which I'm not used to. This is spectacular. You guys maintain these trails?
Yeah, our club maintains over 32 miles of trails around Copper Harbor here.
Well, do people come here from around the world?
Yeah, we see people coming from all over the place, definitely from all 50 states and multiple countries. Lots of people coming down from Canada.
Well, how did you get this place known on the world stage of mountain biking?
Well, we've been working hard at it for years, and you know, we've had the support of amazing community, and our nonprofit organization has definitely taken a lot of steps to build all the trails to make this place world class.
And these trails are very well maintained.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we have 6 full-time volunteers throughout the summer that work on these trails to keep them maintained.
This is awesome.
Well, everything was going great with the shoot until we arrived at a part of the trail that was daunting to say the least.
They're easier if you hit them at speed.
Yeah, I'm just a little nervous.
But lucky enough, Jim and Eric were there to fill me up with false confidence.
You can do it. You're good. Just take it slow. Put your foot out, keep your foot down, and you're good.
So here goes nothing.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm good.
And then it happened.
Oh, there goes Jim. You all right? I'm good.
Yep, in the blink of an eye, Jim, his bike, and UTR camera number 1 dropped about 10 feet to the forest floor.
Holy moly. Eric, you got that?
No, that would have been the best B-roll ever.
Best shot.
And even without a superhero costume, Jim walked away unscathed. So ladies, if you're looking for a true man of steel, Jim can be reached at 734. Once we picked up the pieces, coming down the backside of the mountain was a half-hour thrill ride like I've never had before. Wow, mountain biking with real mountains. Not what I'm used to, but I could get used to doing this real quick. When we finally hit bottom, we made our way back to the Mariner North Resort to thank Peg Cowpea for putting us up for the night. She made sure we had everything we needed to recoup from a hard day on the mountain.
What brought you all the way up to Copper Harbor?
Well, it's just one of those old stories. My husband and I were both born here. We both left when we were young.
Grass is greener.
Yep. I went downstate Michigan. My husband moved out to California, and when we both came back is when we really met each other.
What brought you back?
Being away and seeing that, you know, you could live here and have a great quality of life. You could always get that city fix, but you didn't need to stay there.
Because you're about as far away from my house as you can get in Michigan. I got to tell you, the drive up here was it was spectacular, but it's far.
It is far, and you know, we have this promo for our organization that says it's worth the trip, and the view's better from the top. So,
What's your favorite thing about living up in Copper Harbor?
My husband says the terrain is our product. So living here and getting to do the seasonal thing with the terrain. So we have, you know, you've already experienced what the whole mountain bike thing has done for Copper Harbor.
Yeah, that's why I'm sitting down right now. My legs aren't working anymore.
We're glad you're here to talk about it, yeah.
Thank you. For somebody who's never made the drive up, how would you describe Copper Harbor?
I think that the best way to describe it is what people tell us. And people say that once they get here, they forget. They relax, they let go of stuff, they re-energize, they renew, they tell us these things, and that's why they come back. Because when they go back to whatever their life is, you know, whatever their jobs and families and work and all that, they take a little piece of that with them, that thought, and that's why they come back again.
I took towels from the cabin. That's what I'm taking back with me.
Okay, good.
Well, we packed up our stuff and headed south along the coast on M26. And on our way back down the peninsula, we stopped for a snack at a place I'd heard about and always wanted to check out.
You know, when it comes to Michigan jams and jellies, I think I just found heaven on earth.
That's right, we're at the Jam Pot. a little bakery and jam shop on M26 just north of Eagle River. And what makes this place so unique? Well, these sweet treats are made by genuine Catholic Byzantine monks. If you're eating corporate-made, mass-produced jams and jellies, consider this segment your divine intervention. These heavenly handmade spreadables and baked goods are made by authentic holy men with nothing but your taste buds in mind. When Father Basil isn't tending to holy matters up the road at the monastery, he's here at the bakery helping the other monks make mouth-watering jams and baked goods.
How long has this monastery been here?
We've been here 30 years.
30 years. And what made you pick the Keweenaw Peninsula?
Well, we liked what we saw, and we ordered up some topographic maps. We liked the way the land was broken up and hilly and how it interacted with the lake and the water. And so we decided to pay a visit. We made 7 visits before we actually moved. So we were from the Detroit area, and people told us that we were absolutely insane for thinking about coming to the Keweenaw. They said, but you can cure yourself of the madness. Just go in the winter. So we came in February.
You showed them that you are crazy.
And we loved it. And so here we are.
Well, if you're a spiritual person, the natural beauty up here,
Yes.
it just lends itself to that
That's right.
lifestyle.
And that's why the February visit was actually made our decision. It was sunny at the time. There had been lots of snow, so it was brilliantly white. There was no traffic at all to speak of on the highways, and it was exceptionally quiet. So it seemed the perfect place for monastic life.
Monking.
For monking.
Yes. I have to ask you, though, how did you get into the whole jams and jellies thing in the bakery?
We arrived in the fall, or late summer. Job number 1 was surviving the winter, so that's what we had to worry about, getting firewood and making sure we had a water supply and all of those very practical things. Once that was done and winter set in, there wasn't much else to do except think. So we put our heads together and tried to think about what we would do to survive. So the only thing we could think of was to do what many other people in the area were doing. That was to pick the wild berries in the summer and to make jam. And we had to throw away quite a few batches before we got some things right. But we made jam, we made jelly, and at that point we started adding baked goods to our repertoire, and well, the rest is history.
What's the most rewarding thing about what you do?
What I do personally is actually the interaction I have with the customers. I have to admit that here we get far many more agreeable customers than I've encountered in other counter jobs. And I think that's simply because people are on vacation, it's a beautiful area, the weather for the most part is great, and they're enjoying themselves.
And look what you're selling.
Yeah.
And the proceeds go to?
To the monastery. They support us.
It's a win-win-win-win.
Well, we think so. It's worked out very well.
The smells in the kitchen and the treats we sampled were absolutely divine. And these gentle men of peace were probably some of the nicest, sincerest people we've ever encountered. If you're looking for the stairway to heavenly jams and baked goods, I highly recommend a pilgrimage to the Jam Pot. And if you're looking for a peninsula where you can float on a spring, fly like Super Dude, see the northern lights, and mountain bike in real mountains, look up at the UP. After all, UP does spell up.
How'd you like to know more about all the great places we visit on the show? It's simple. Just go to our website. You can watch old episodes, use our visitor information guide, tell us where you want us to go next, jump to our Facebook page, and even buy a hat like mine. So just go to utrmichigan.com. That's utrmichigan.com. Nice beach, huh? It's in Michigan.
Under the Radar Michigan is brought to you in part by the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, investing in people, places, and partnerships to help transform Michigan and the Michigan economy. In cities, towns, and neighborhoods, people are building better places to live and better communities. The Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure series raises funds and awareness in the breast cancer fight, celebrates survivorship, and honors those who have lost their battle. Everyone is welcome. Find a Komen Race for the Cure in more than 140 cities at komen.org. And by Big B Coffee, celebrating 18 years as a Michigan company. Gift cards, mugs, and coffee by the pound available in store and online. Franchise info available at biggby.com.